In this video we're going to be taking a look and unboxing the Xiaomi Mi 10T Lite, and this is the 5G edition of the device. Thanks to Vodafone for sending out this phone to review. So let's open up the box and get started. So here is the box itself. Let's just take a look around the box. So 5G is a big focus of this device and they are putting this front and center on the box. And then around the sides we also have an interesting selling point, which is with easy access to the Google apps you use most. So they've actually highlighted the fact that you still get Google Play and the Google App Store on this device, unlike some of Huawei's devices which no longer actually support Google Play services. So let's open up the box. And there it is. That is the device itself. Now initially this looks like a pretty big phone, so let's just get this out. We still have the wrapping on the side, and on the back here we have our quad camera array, and this looks like a pretty big device compared to my iPhone 12 mini, which I'm used to and really like the size of. So we'll see how I get on with this. This sort of reminds me of the size of the Samsung Galaxy A90 5G that I looked at a couple of months ago. And then also in the box we just have this piece of cardboard, and then in here we have a box of what looks to be documentation maybe. So let's have a look in here. We have our SIM eject tool, we have some documentation, but we also get a protective case, so you don't actually need to go out and buy one if you want to protect your phone. So that's a silicone case there. Let's just get this out. And there you go. So it's got a texture on the inside, so it gives it a dotted finish on the outside, and that all protects your camera as well as the device around the side. Also within the box we have a USB Type A to Type C cable, and you can use this to charge up the device. It supports fast charging. Then we also have the power brick, which is included within the box, and this is a power brick that maxes out at 33 watts of power, so you'll be able to charge up your device fairly quickly with that. So this is the device itself. Do we have any plastic to peel off? We'll just peel off this label and I'll stick that in the box. And then on the front we have a pre-fitted screen protector by the looks of it, so we won't be peeling that off. So let's just turn on the device. And there it is. It says 5G on the startup screen there. And of course this runs MIUI, which is Xiaomi's Android skin. So let's just go through and do the initial setup. I will connect to my Wi-Fi and we'll accept all of Google's terms of service there. And we'll just use mobile data because it's not connecting to the Wi-Fi at the moment, but that's not an issue. That's probably more likely to be an issue with my Wi-Fi. It's been going in and out a bit lately, so hopefully it gets a bit more stable. So now we can sign into a Mi account if we have one. I don't, so I'm going to skip. And we'll just skip again. And we can set up a fingerprint. So let's set a pin as a backup. And of course it's telling me to remember this because otherwise we will not be able to get into the device. So I'll set my pin. And now we'll add our fingerprint, which is built into the power button on the device. And I think this is a really good implementation of the fingerprint reader, and hopefully this makes it to the next generation of iPhones, because we're seeing it in the iPad Air, so hopefully it becomes a bit more widespread. Although this sort of fingerprint reader is what I remember seeing on one of the Sony Xperias I reviewed years ago now, so it's stuck around, and these seem to work better than the under-display fingerprint readers, which are a little bit slower, but they're still pretty good. Yeah, so then we have all of our diagnostic settings. Let's turn off a couple of those, and I don't want personalized ads. So now I'm going to select the app drawer because that's what I want to have. And then we'll just stick with the classic theme for now. And there we go, we're all set up. And just while this sets up, I can talk a bit more about the specs and look around the device. So on the back we have the camera array itself, and this is a quad camera system, and this is 64 megapixels, which is a really high megapixel count. So 64 megapixels for the main sensor, which is a wide, and then we have an 8 megapixel ultra wide, as well as a 2 megapixel macro camera and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. So hopefully that should deliver some good photos. It sounds really promising on the spec sheet, but of course we'll have to wait and see how it does do in that full review. And then as well, to go along with that fast charger that we looked at a few minutes ago, this phone has a 4,820 milliamp hour battery, which should provide you with plenty of power for using throughout the day. And of course, we'll see how that holds up as well in the full review. So on the front here, we have a large display, and this display is 6.7 inches. It's not an OLED display, but it is an LCD display with an IPS panel. So that's still decent, but it would have of course been nicer to have an OLED display. And this is Gorilla Glass 5, and then also on the back we also have Gorilla Glass 5. So this is a full glass build, and it does have a bit of heft to it because this device weighs around 215 grams. So it is a heavier device compared to some of the more recent devices, such as the Pixel 4a, which has a fully polycarbonate build, which is really lightweight, and the iPhone 12 mini is also pretty light. But of course, this phone does undercut those, and this is just over £200 for the 64GB model with 6GB of RAM, but you can upscale that to 128 gigs for a bit more money. So this is the phone itself. The display looks pretty good despite not being an OLED, and we can brighten this up a bit. And then we also have the apps that are included in the device. So there are quite a lot. We have Facebook, eBay, LinkedIn, the Mi Remote, the Mi Browser, Netflix, as well as WPS Office. So there are some apps that I would consider bloatware to be included on this. And there are some duplicate apps that sort of offer the same functionality, such as the Mi Browser as well as Google Chrome. But that was a quick look and unboxing of the Xiaomi Mi 10T Lite. Stay tuned and get subscribed to the channel to see the full review of this phone in a couple of weeks. But until then, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.